Picture this. You are scrolling through your phone and suddenly see a leopard caught on CCTV, walking casually past an apartment gate. Or you're driving down a highway and an elephant herd blocks the road. Or maybe you are in a Delhi market and a troop of monkeys just decides to raid the food stalls. We laugh, we gasp, we scroll. But here's the catch. It's not the animals breaking into our cities, but it is us building our cities over theirs. Countries like India are rapidly urbanizing, but amidst clearing out jungles to build smart cities with huge highways, numerous factories and gigantic skyscrapers for ourselves, we often fail to address the question, where will the animals go? Increasing wildlife sightings near housing societies, creating havoc in markets, are grim reminders that this is not wilderness breaking into our world, but that we are building ours over theirs. Yet, the narrative does not have to be one of conflict. The important thing is finding a solution to how humans can continue their development whilst coexisting with animals in our surroundings. Well, the solution is quite simple. It lies in building urban infrastructure and city plans that are suitable for all. So, let us talk about how several cities in the world are planning animal-friendly urban infrastructure and understand the importance of doing so. Well, as more people migrate to cities, the demand for urban infrastructure like housing and transport also increases significantly. And in this process of development, more jungles are cleared, leaving millions of animals displaced, homeless and vulnerable. The impact of urbanization on biodiversity is clearly visible in data reports. The World Wildlife Fund's Living Planet report revealed a 69% decline in monitored wildlife populations between 1970 and 2018 in its 2022 edition, a figure that worsened to a catastrophic 73% decline between 1970 and 2020 in the report published in 2024. Freshwater species fared worst, plunging 83% by 2018 and an alarming 85% by 2020, followed by a 69% drop in terrestrial species. Among these, the largest declines in 2024 report have been observed in Latin America and the Caribbean regions, with an average decline of 94%. 66% in Africa and 55% in Asia-Pacific regions during 1970 to 2020. Well, these numbers should ring a bell in our conscious minds. Now, you may ask, what could be the main reasons that could have led to this alarming decline in wildlife population? Well, the report highlights habitat loss and degradation, species overexploitation, loss of green cover and water bodies, human-induced climate change and pollution, and most majorly, rapid urbanization is the root cause of all these issues, which has in turn led to major deforestation and loss of habitats in major regions. You should be shocked to know that in India alone, urbanization in the Western Himalayas jumped 184% between 1975 and 2015, leading to deforestation, which reduced the area of natural habitats, specifically forests, by 11% and water bodies by 8%. And all this is mainly due to human activities like building dams, construction of roads, power plants, and paper mill factories. And that is why Gurugram, once a Ravali wilderness, now has leopards roaming its edges.
दिल्ली के पास गुरुग्राम के टिकली गांव में 2 तेंदुओं का आतंक फैला। गांव की गौशाला में लगे सीसीटीवी में दिख रहा है कि एक तेंदुआ दीवार फांदकर अंदर आता है और मवेशियों की तरफ बढ़ जाता है।
Our cities are literally swallowing jungles, leading to increased human-wildlife conflict. While we cannot stop development in a rapidly globalizing world, what we can do is shift the focus from building human-centered cities to building inclusive cities for all. We have to understand that it is of grave importance for us to maintain an equilibrium between animals and humans in order to address this issue and mitigate the effects of urbanization on wildlife. Cities from all around the world are actively integrating wildlife corridors, green bridges, vertical forest, and biodiversity parks into their development plans and reimagining urban spaces as inclusive habitats. So let us now explore both national and global examples of how cities are rising to this ecological challenge. India is not just watching, it is responding. Over 101 elephant corridors have been mapped across 14 states. These corridors make elephant movements between fragmented habitats easier. On the Delhi-Mumbai Expressway, engineers have built 5 wildlife overpasses and the country's longest underpass for animals, cutting right through Ranthambhore's buffer zone. The Kanha-Pench corridor in Madhya Pradesh is a lifeline for tigers. The Nilgiri-Wayanad corridor connects the last major elephant habitats in South India. And then, of course, there's Mumbai's Sanjay Gandhi National Park, where over 50 leopards live next to Borivali and RA's high-rises. It is one of the rarest examples of true urban wildlife coexistence in the world. Even in Delhi, the Aravali Biodiversity Park is being restored as a green lung and a refuge for jackals, civets, and bird species once thought gone. India is not alone. Around the world, cities are realizing that development and biodiversity do not have to be enemies. Amsterdam is setting the example by incorporating specially designed wildlife overpasses called eco-ducts into their city planning. The Netherlands has more than 600 wildlife crossings, from tunnels for toads to vast bridges for deers and foxes. The Natuburg-Zanderzy-Krelu is the longest bridge, spanning over a distance of 800 meters long and 50 meters wide. A superhighway for animals over a highway and a railway line. It is roughly translated as Sand Quarry Natural Bridge and leads animals like deer and foxes across N524 roadway and nearby railways to the surrounding wooded areas and fragmented green zones safely. In Brisbane, Australia, the Compton Road Wildlife Crossing is designed with vegetation to mimic the forest. The 70-meter-long hourglass-shaped crossing even has rope ladders for gliders, poles, fauna-friendly culverts, and a land bridge connecting Karawatha Forest Park and Kurabi bushlands for arboreal animals like koalas, monkeys, sloths, and vegetated tunnels aiming to enhance habitat connectivity and lessen the impact of constructed roads on natural habitats of wildlife populations in urban areas. This is not just infrastructure, it is habitat. Near Los Angeles, the Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing in Agoura Hills, California, is a massive wildlife bridge being constructed over US highway, meant to be the world's largest wildlife crossing, reconnecting habitats between the Santa Monica Mountains and Sierra Madre Range, aiming to protect animals like mountain lions. The Trans-Canada Highway passing through the Banff National Park includes 6 overpasses and 44 underpasses, which have facilitated the safe crossing of over 200,000 large animals such as grizzly bears, elk, and wolves by avoiding road fatalities. And then there's Singapore, a garden city model for urban biodiversity with its biophilic city. Model of designing infrastructure that does not replace nature but instead coexist with it. With its 300-kilometer park-connected network and eco-links over highways, the city has managed to bring back species like pangolins, langurs, and even otters, right in the middle of a global finance hub. In Nairobi, the Nairobi National Park borders the city's skyline. Special underpasses now help lions and zebras cross under highways while skyscrapers rise in the backdrop. These are not just isolated projects, but they are a part of a global shift from anthropocentric cities designed for humans alone to ecocentric cities that include all species. We don't need to choose between development and wildlife. Cities can be built to include and not exclude. Wildlife corridors, biodiversity parks, vertical forest, eco-links, these aren't just add-ons but essentials. They're not luxuries but lifelines. Because animals are not just extras in a documentary or attractions in zoos and safaris. They are our cohabitants, our neighbors on this planet. Bridges for elephants, tunnels for frogs, high-rises with trees for birds is a new design language that should be incorporated in our city plans. Cities where humans and animals share space instead of competing for it. But the real question is this: will we keep building cities that shut them out, or will we design cities for all? Because the future of urban life is not just glass and steel, it is biodiversity, it is coexistence, and it starts with how we choose to build the next block, the next bridge, and the next city.